You're listening to Love, Life and Liquor, a Drankin Partners podcast. If you like beer, food, sex, and talking about badass kids, then this is the podcast you've been waiting for. Now, here are your peoples, Mareshah and Dom.
Well, all right, we are back with another episode of Drankin Partners. Myself, Dom.
And Mareshah.
And it's been a minute, but I think we are back with a pretty strong episode this time.
I would have to agree. I'm super excited because this is the first time in the history ever of the Drinking Partners podcast that we have had a guest on our show. And not only did we have one guest, we had 4 guests.
Yeah, we banged this one out. We had the opportunity to interview the brothers from the Old Hillside Bourbon Company, Emmanuel Waters, Courtney Tucker, Jesse Carpenter, and Brian Burton. Less than 2 years ago, they made one of their dreams come true. Their story is pretty inspiring and pretty much unheard of. The fact that they were able to do what they did in such a short period of time. I think it's pretty dope to be able to hear their story.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because I know one of these guys, Jesse, personally. We go way back in our Herbert Field days. Mm-hmm. So that was back in the old whatevers. So it's just exciting to see where he's come from and where the rest of his team has come from in this amount of time, because I think when you hear stories like this, people are like, I never would have imagined that I would be in this place that I'm in today. And it's so cool that to actually know somebody who has done this. So it's inspiring, it's motivating to see like, hey, if they can do it, maybe we can do it too. Or, anybody can do it. Someone who has a dream, like, go get it. So. Right.
They're doing big things. So let's get into it.
What was the conversation like when you're like, hey, y'all, I'm thinking about starting a bourbon company? Like, how did that come up and what was that conversation like?
It's Brian. Jesse called me on a Saturday morning after a long Friday night for me. But about 6 days, he said, hey, I want to start a bourbon company. I told him, hey, good luck. I'll support you. He said, no, please, hey, I want you to participate, help me, do this. So he and I just sat down and we just started going over how to start a bourbon company. So that was how it began.
Yeah, that was a chain of events of phone calls, because then I got a phone call shortly afterwards from Jesse and said, hey, I want you on this project. I'm starting the bourbon company. Same thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm buying a new bourbon every week. Let's do this. And I think it was coming out of a time where we had the George Floyd murder, right? And then we had, just the whole thing that was going on with the country with COVID. And so a lot of us was just sitting around trying to figure out, what's next? What do we do? And when I got that call, it was just perfect timing for me. And then again, I made a call.
Yeah. So me and Courtney are actually cousins.
This is Emmanuel.
And but we didn't grow up together, because these jokers are much older than me. Make sure you put that down on the podcast. They are much older than me. So yeah, and like you said, literally during COVID, I was actually reading an article on Yahoo News that morning that was like, Black wealth is going to shrink in this country in 2040 or something, by 1,000,000%.
Wow.
And the George Floyd thing happened, and I was sitting in my office and I was like, man, I really want to do something to create Black wealth. And not even 24 hours later, Courtney's calling me saying, hey man, I got some brothers and we're going to start a bourbon company. And I was just like, yo, how do I get down? And it really skyrocketed from I think that was Labor Day weekend. And then we started having meetings literally twice a week for hours on end. And we had no bottle, nothing, just meeting, just what we wanted to do. And then we had a business plan. All we had is a slide deck. We didn't even have headshots. We just had a slide deck. And
I took my headshot. FaceTime on
1967 suit on. And, wow. Yeah. And now we're fast forward 18 months, and we're in 3 states. The hardest state to get into, which is North Carolina, Kentucky, which is the best state of bourbon, and California, the largest state in the union, and just expanding, man. So it's been a long road, but like I said, thanks for these guys, man. It's been a godsend.
Awesome, very cool. So why bourbon? Because I feel like in the Black community, especially, we see a lot of wine, like sweet wines now. And of course, there's cognac. But what made you like, I'm going to do bourbon. I'm not going to do wine or cognac or, one of these other spirits that I would say maybe traditionally we would associate with the Black community?
So the question I asked Mareshah is, what does cognac taste like?
I mean, a lot of folks think it tastes like gas. I love it.
So, so I asked that question at every one of my tastings, and nobody can accurately answer that question. Like, what does it taste like? To me, bourbon is a full body spirit. You can taste flavors in it that you can't taste in any other spirit. And I moved to Kentucky. Like you can't get away from it in Kentucky. And once you understand the science behind it, it's really awesome how you can take a barrel and store it on a higher rack and it tastes completely different. So that's what kind of fascinated us a little bit. And Brian and I started touring distilleries and just figuring out how everybody do it and how the science is different. We just like, man, we could do this. And we just started experimenting. We got barrels aging at the top of a mountain, and we got some on the lowest part of the racks. And I can't wait to see what they taste like. You can't manipulate any other spirit the way you can with bourbon.
I think bourbon's also an industry that we're not fully represented in, right? There's only a handful of bourbon owners that are, so I think for us, we really wanted to break into that market and really put our stamp on that, and really show that as African American men, we could really, really thrive in that arena, right? Because we're very underrepresented there.
Right. I was doing some research, and I'm not an expert by any means in this field, and it wasn't even bourbon. I didn't see any other Black bourbon companies. I did see whiskey, and probably like the most famous is Uncle Nearest, Fawn Weaver. But what was it like trying to break into that space where there's very few Black people?
We heard a lot of no's. We got a lot of doors slammed in our faces, right? So, but we're used to that, right? And so what that did for us was it was fuel. It was fuel for us. And it's allowed us to work harder to get into that space and to be successful and do things that we wanted to see in that space, right? And so we wanted to create change, and this is one of the ways that we did that.
I would also say that, in corporate America, we all know what it's like to be the only one that looks like us in the room. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of similar, right? But also, given the times that we're in, believe it or not, with the George Floyd thing happened, tides kind of changed in the sense that now all eyes are on us. So I would say that a lot of the doors that just open because, oh, you guys are minority owned brand. Okay, we're coming in the room, and we took advantage of that as well. So, but we did get a lot of no's.
And this might actually shock a lot of people, but some of the no's came from people that looked like we did. Mm-hmm. But the biggest yes came from people that looked exactly like we did. We had a partner that opened his Rolodex to us, and so it's been a lot of help from our people as well. So I don't want to discount that at all, but it was a lot of people that look like us that told us like, no,
right,
figure it out.
Do you think that may be because of unfamiliarity with bourbon and whiskey, kind of at that level, like a fine spirit versus, maybe something you might mix with for like jungle juice or something?
People own their own bourbon brands.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually had an individual reached out to us, invited us to lunch, and never confirmed. And now his brand is struggling. It's just little stuff like that we ran into.
So I also wanted to ask you about, like you were talking about the taste, like what does cognac taste like? But when you were developing this bourbon and the flavors, were you gearing it toward a certain palate, or was it what you like or what you felt the community would like, or something that would be palatable to everybody? Like, what was the thought behind the flavor profiles?
So the flavor profile was, we wanted to have something mature enough that the seasoned bourbon drinker would enjoy it, as well as your newly initiated bourbon drinkers. So if you have the opportunity to smell our bourbon, you'll smell the caramel, which comes off as syrup or pancake smell. You'll pick vanilla up, maybe a little nutmeg in there, and you may smell the rye. But the taste profile follows the same lines. So we wanted just something that, again, maybe like you said, was palatable to everyone, but we wanted to definitely, have the bourbon enthusiasts be just as happy as the newly initiated.
No, I think the piggyback off of that is we wouldn't put anything in the bottle we wouldn't drink.
Right.
Palate's very key to what the taste profile ended up being. So we wanted to put something in there that we liked, right? And so if we liked it, we figured, the masses would like it as well. So
now that you own your own company and you understand the science behind all this, have y'all become like bourbon snobs to the point where y'all drink, y'all smell somebody else's stuff and you be like, this is trash?
That turned 10 times. And even today we actually visited our distributor and he has so many brands and we were tasting all these other ones and he was telling us the price point and me and Brian were like, man, I wouldn't pay $40 for that.
Trash.
So we are in a sense, but we try to be neutral and then we have a brand because it'll look like we're coming from a darker place if we just criticize everything. So we try to this is why we don't like it or this is why we love it. Versus just like, man, it's trash.
Y'all better than me because I would have been like, this is trash. This is trash.
Man, trust me, man. You have no idea.
A lot of folks know about Kentucky, but does Carolina have roots in bourbon as well?
Yes and no. It's just Kentucky is the creme de la creme. It gets no better than Kentucky. And the reason being, Kentucky has 4 distinct seasons. And if you know anything about barrel aging, if it gets cold, it pulls it in the wood. When it gets hot, it pushes it out, and so on and so forth. So we like to age ours by seasons versus years. And so if we can get 8 to 12 seasons, it's the equivalent of somebody else doing 2 years. So we try to do that. So Kentucky is the creme de la creme, don't get me wrong. But I think the North Carolina scene is starting to pick up a little bit. There's a lot of brands out of North Carolina. But and Kentucky is home. It's where our brand is birthed, and it will continue to be that way.
Yeah, Carolina and Kentucky have the same thing. Moonshine is the same as bourbon. Same process.
yeah.
We talked a little bit about who kind of like your target is. You want to reach seasoned bourbon drinkers and then also introduce bourbon to new drinkers. So what has the reception been like home in North Carolina? And then, like you said, now you're in California and another market, because I know that you guys recently won a medal at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. So the industry is respecting you and receiving you. The world, yeah.
Yeah, largest spirits competition in the world. First year, that's an amazing accomplishment. For a young brand, and for us to see the work that we put in. But to answer your question, the feedback has been it's hard to put in words, so people don't know, the very first weekend that we got into stores in Kentucky, we were selling out in random places that we had never even stepped foot in.
Oh, wow.
Just because of the work that we did with the label. If you see our label, we have put in time and effort. It's just not like we got into stores, but we spent literally 13 months prior to getting in stores, literally working on a label. Like, we put a lot of work into this. So for that first weekend until we started selling out random stores, and then, we go into North Carolina, and which is the most difficult state to get into, to selling over 240 bottles in 40 minutes. And I mean,
wow.
We got to the store at 9 a.m. and people were wrapped around the building. We went to the store. We thought we were selling iPhones. That's how the impact, the community came. And then to even now that we got in California, which is where me and Courtney live, to, the stores are selling out faster, where we can't make it fast enough, to where they're calling us now saying, hey, we want to double the order from last month. So the reception has been amazing. But I think part of it is the drink, but the other part of it is just the story behind this. We put in the work. You know what I mean? We have a great story and we have a great drink, and those two together have just been phenomenal. We've gotten calls from several states to the point where we had to say, guys, we have to slow down because we don't want to jeopardize the integrity of our drink and the process. You know, we do everything with a spirit of excellence. So we're just not going to rush into a state just to get some cash. We want to do it right.
Yeah, thinking back over that too, man. Like we had time to put in the work, right? So what we did before we even had a product, we just put in that work in terms of just mapping out where we're going to be in 5 years, mapping out where we're going to be at certain points. If we hit those milestones, and in order to do anything successfully, you have to have a goal, right? And so we had that goal. We set our goals, we set our objectives, and we hit those marks, right? And so before we even had a product, we were mapping out, we were strategizing where we're going to be, what we're going to do. I mean, from the labels, everything was like handcrafted in terms of we thought everything out, right? We came to a point where we knew what was going to happen. We always say this is ordained, right? That's our thing. Like we saw it before it happened.
Yeah.
Right? And so and everything follows from there.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, and not just the juice in the bottle. We wanted to carry ourselves differently. We wanted to dress different. We wanted to look different. We wanted everything about our brand to be the type of targets that we were trying to get into. And so what we were posted on social media changed on our individual stuff. So we wanted to create a brand that carried a lot of respect and a lot of values to it. And I think that we have done that.
Well, it sounds like you have, especially with this win under your belt. It's just the beginning for you guys. So
Was this the first time that y'all entered a competition?
Yeah, very first one.
And we bottled our first bottles in June of last year.
Oh, so out the gate, y'all getting gold medals.
You said that, but yeah, we are.
As far as your packaging, because you said obviously, everything regarding the bottle and the idea and the packaging was extremely important. So I was looking online. I don't know. This dude actually says he knows y'all. He said he went to school with y'all. His name is, I don't know what his real name is, but his name is Mr. Parker, not 1967. Wears a lot of polo. And I hadn't seen the bottle, but he was talking about how, on the label you have the school. And he was cracking jokes. He was talking about, right here in this window was, is where everybody used to get into fights, in the cafeteria. He was pointing out, he was doing the maps of, the whole school. And, I just think that's actually, pretty dope that y'all put that type of detail, into your packaging.
And that's the nostalgia we wanted to create. So on every one of our bottles is a tagline. Well, it's two taglines. One is history, heritage, homage. We explained that part, but founded in friendship. Like this is literally a friendship that dates back to and I know Emmanuel gonna say something smart about the 80s, but the 80s, man. We go back to the 80s and the stuff that was built in these schools that we attended is just, we want to create a centerpiece where we can sit around and talk about how I used to take Brian's lunch money every single day in school and laugh about it. And and that's what we wanted to do. And I think we pulled it off. And our label tells that story. And the effort that Brian put in this label, we all thought was overkill. But right now, we don't even, they can't give him the justice that he did on this label. So
Brian has an acute sense of detail. Seriously, that is like none other.
Yeah.
Right, and so he really focuses on every detail. He sent us like a 30-page like,
Art Deco. We were looking at Art Deco and
go through this, and we handpicked everything. So he was very meticulous in this process, man. And I think it paid off because once people see that label, they're like, wow, this is something special, right? And that's all. That was just the hard work that we put into it. So hats off to Brian for the label, man.
You would think I did it by myself, but I didn't. It took a team effort of sitting there and just letting me just say, nah, let's do this some more. Let's work this some more. So as you'll see with our first expression, that tells who we are. That tells the story of who we are. And the second expression tells you what this company is about and where we're going with this.
it seems like you guys have the perfect blend of expertise on your team. I know you have some of y'all come from tech, communications, operations management. So with that, I'm wondering who are your business mentors, or maybe just mentors in life that have helped y'all achieve success in this bourbon company? And I was also reading, I don't know if he was actually a personal mentor, but one of your alums, the late Andre Leon Talley,
Yes.
if you ever got personal advice from him, because obviously we all know his legacy, but just who are the ones that you look up to and reach out to help you reach the success that you have?
Yeah, I mean, to tell you everybody would be, longer than this podcast needs to be.
Right.
But in summation, yes, I've had experiences with Mr. Talley. I actually was at a birthday party for one of his friends, and in the sense of the city of where we're from, no one is bigger than the person next to him. So, he's just Andre to us, but to the world, he was a fashion maven. He created all of these styles in these houses. So we've encountered other people through North Carolina Mutual, which is the oldest and only Black insurance company that provided insurance for our people. So these people were our uncles, our godfathers. You spend the night over their house. They're nobody different than your friend down the street. But to others, they were these really great businessmen. From the Walkers to all of the Scarboroughs to the all of these great leaders within our community were just people that live down the street from us. So they're all influential. We didn't know it then. We know it now because they're no longer with us. But yes, they definitely influenced our business, how we came about, and who we are up until this day.
I think I want to say too that we grew up in an era where the community raised us.
Absolutely.
Right. We had the elders who grabbed us up when they saw us doing something we weren't supposed to do. Right. And so we took a lot of that with us in terms of just how we wanted to conduct ourselves in the business world, in life, because life is a reflection of business is a reflection of life. You know what I'm saying? If you're a sloppy person in life, you're gonna be a sloppy person in business, right? So those core values that we grew up with, that was instilled in us at a very young age, I think is what we carry into this process, into our own lives as individuals. So we really wanted to tap into that, and that's pretty much how we got to where we are. Because, I don't play, right? That's how I was raised, right?
Yeah.
And so that's just what we do.
And then also to see the diversity at our events in our hometown. We had a bottle signing, and we sold. So they broke records in North Carolina and
Twice.
And we sold more in an hour than any other brand in the state of North Carolina.
Wow.
And not to brag on that fact, I am bragging a little bit, but to see guys who graduated from Hillside in the '60s and come out there with their old class of '60s shirts just to get our autograph.
Oh wow.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And that's why we did it, so that's the caveat for me, and to take away from seeing all this growth that we've had.
Right.
When y'all go into stores, do y'all find yourself moving all y'all product up to the front?
If it's there, yeah, we'll do it. But normally it's not there. So
Yeah, we actually look at other brands and just admire them for what they are.
yeah.
I mean, that's what we did. We walked in the stores and we looked at brands. We looked at the label.
like this one.
We looked at the
definitely.
bottle shape, and if we liked it, then we bought it and we tasted it.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of our scouting process.
I think to piggyback off that in terms of just this team, I think I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, but like this generation, with social media and the idea, basically this overnight success, right? You just pop that can't happen, but 9 times out of 10 it's not. And I think social media does a thing of where they just think, you're in stores, you blew up, but it's like we took 15 months. Like I can't express that enough. Literally picking bottles, labels, talking, picking the flavor profile, the drinks, going into store. I randomly going to stores like I like this bottle, this price point, that price point, So we literally took time to mature, to process, and we didn't rush the process. And there were days we'd be on the call where it's like Brian was like, let's slow down. let's slow down, or let's speed up, or let's, but now we know, like, we're in our right season. You know what I mean? I think that's perfect, and that really speaks to kind of the team makeup. And I can't stress enough again, like, we just divide and conquer, and we have something. Brian can literally see a freaking photo and point out. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't freaking care about it. Like, I was so sick of looking at the label. I was like, get off. I don't want to look at it. Right? I don't want to look at it. But when it comes to talking with distributors and doing contracts like that, that's my bread and butter. That's what I like to do. Same thing with Courtney. And Jesse would be like, hey, he can literally spend time do the quality of the seals and the boxes and the pallets, how they stack. I don't freaking care. Just show me what the contract is so I can sign it. You know what I'm saying?
That's the dynamic of our team. You know what I mean?
It's a strategic strength, so play your strengths.
Or we get Brian talking about Web 5.9, and I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Just do it.
Just do the
website. He's like, well, I want to make sure y'all understand. I'm like, I would never understand IT. Just do it, and that's what the conversation we had. Like, I was telling Brian the other day, like I've known him since 6th grade, and we've never had an argument until we started the business. And he used to just give his lunch money up with no argument, but now he's debating me on why we need to be on Web 99. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Hey, but so it's just a fun time, man, with these guys, and we have a blast, and it doesn't even feel like we have a business; it just feel like a bunch of friends creating more friends.
That's good.
Yeah, so
That's awesome. So it sounds like y'all are having a great time and you're doing well.
We're drinking Old Hillside, so we have to make
Right. So have you all been able to, or do you desire to quit your 9-to-5s, or is that in the plans for y'all? What's that looking like?
We're laughing. If you see the faces in the room right now, because we literally talked about this just last night. Yeah, this is the goal. And God willing, the way things are going, by the end of this year, by the clock striking 12 before 2023, this is going to be full time, man. We all for sure, Yeah,
it started off as a passion project, and I think it articulated to a point where we have to do this full time in order to get to where we want to be. We want to create generational wealth, right? That's our goal. And you can't do that working a 9-to-5. And we realized that. I've been on my job for 22 years, right? And so I was always taught, hey, get a job, work that job, live the American dream, right? But in the process, you're making somebody else rich.
Right.
And so, I think this is an avenue where we can use that to really build our communities, to really build our families, and create that generational wealth. So this is, we want to get off our jobs tomorrow. But we got to be realistic too. We're not at that point yet, right?
Right.
So we have families, we have kids and grandkids. So it's like, hey, we got to do what we got to do.
sons.
Right.
So in that vein, like, what is your dream 30 years from now? Where do you see Old Hillside Bourbon?
30 years from now? Well,
I was
first
like,
of all,
damn, what about 10 years?
Well, no,
30 years from now.
because we're talking about generational wealth for the next
I don't know,
generation.
they be pushing 80, so we may need to, let's talk 25.
Oh, 25. Okay. Well, I didn't want to cut you down in your prime. Like, let me cut you short.
So if you haven't noticed already, Emmanuel is very young and he likes to make old jokes.
Hey, I'm just, you never know. Let's live today,
Yeah, if we envision the future, we would be on the board and somebody would be running daily operations.
The younger generation.
Corey.
Yeah.
Because it's a family affair. Everybody involved in this is our family. From sons, like they said, sons and cousins and nieces and nephews. So it's a family affair. We're gonna set them up to drive this through the future to pass off to the next generation.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear that.
When y'all won the gold medal, what ultimately separated your bourbon from others?
We couldn't tell you.
We don't know.
We know it was a tasting contest, so it had to be the taste.
And I do, and to go back to what Courtney said, I said earlier, we will not put anything in a bottle that we can't stand by, and we won't do it. So this is what we like to drink. If I was not the owner of Old Hillside, I would buy it. And I think that's what it comes out. I'm a lot of brands out there they produce to make money, which is the ultimate goal. But if you can't stand behind your product, or you frown and every time you sip it, there's nothing about that it translates to long-term money to me.
Right.
So this is something that we can stand by against anything. And I'm not saying that because we're the brand owners. This is a product that I enjoy. So hopefully that's what the judges saw. So it's something different. It's not from any other place that they've had before.
And it was a blind tasting, basically.
Oh.
So it was a taste profile. I mean, it was what we put in the bottle that allowed us to win that gold.
And there's a lot of big boys that did not get anywhere near what we scored.
They was hot too.
Yeah, sure they were.
And you know what? I'll be petty for a minute.
Do it. I'll support you, bro.
The same big boys who shut those doors on us. So we loved it. We relished it. Right? We didn't feel bad at all about it.
And keep in mind, man, Emmanuel, he was behind this project, and he lives in California, and he's texting us. And me and Brian go to bed early anyways. And this guy texting us at like 3-4 in the morning, like, yo, hey, check your email. I'm like, bro, I'm asleep. And to see that gold medal in that email, man, I was like, now I can't go back.
I almost dropped my laptop. That's how we're on me and Courtney were on the phone, just strategizing. I think we talked like 57 times, like literally. And then I was like, all right, Court, get ready to go. All right, he checked the sports center, and then literally I'm like, I see my email, I'm like, oh my God. I just started screaming like, yo, we did it. We won gold. I don't know what to say. I'm texting him. He's like, yo, send me an email. I said, I ain't gonna send it. I'm gonna screenshot you. So I'll wait for them to get up. I texted him on like 3 a.m. I was like, yo, as soon as y'all get up, check your email. We did it. I mean, it was validation. I don't even know what to say.
And the plan really was like, let's take this silver medal and let's get the scores, figure out how we can make a better product.
Yeah.
And so now we're like, let's take this gold and figure out how we can get double gold or platinum.
It is.
So it's evolution, man. We're not okay with a gold medal.
No,
we're happy as hell, but we're not okay with a gold medal.
Are they gonna send y'all like legitimate hardware?
Oh yeah, we got it.
Yeah, I already got it.
I mean, we need the Michael Jordan photos.
Right.
I'm rocking it to dinner tonight.
No, we're gonna put it on our product.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's gonna really elevate, our status in the bourbon industries. We're gonna have that gold just right on the label. Here you go. This is us.
I wish you could tell you something magical. It's ordained. These guys ain't telling me all the truth. Some of the brands take 7 to 10 years to get in the state of North Carolina to be approved to be sold. We did it in 3 months.
But not even that. They called us.
They called us.
We don't. There ain't enough time on the podcast to tell you how things have literally just.
That is crazy.
I mean,
exactly.
Just from
we sold out in 53 minutes.
53 minutes.
We sold out twice in 52 minutes. 250 plus bottles. Twice.
Look, then after we do North Carolina, we're hyped, we're amazed, right? As we go back, I get a call from my sister-in-law. She's like, hey, what do you think about coming into California? I was like, man, we got 40 million people. We're not even ready. We're not even going to entertain that. Lo and behold, there was an acquisition that happened. A company bought another company, and they just happened to be in the store that our bottles happened to be in, that we sold out in that next one.
Just happened to be in.
She literally called and said, oh, I can see your numbers that you're doing in Kentucky. Let's talk. And it just, like Courtney said, man, this is literally ordained, man. I don't even know what to describe. Some stuff just falls in our lap. It's just, we're speechless.
So we say thankful and thoughtful.
Yeah.
We didn't do this on our own.
We didn't do something.
There's a higher power involved with all of this, and I think this is not for us. We're doing this for the community. We're doing this for our families, and we're not selfish because we're successful without this.
Exactly.
Every individual in this company, we're like Voltron. Right?
Yo, I was gonna say the same thing.
Right. So we're successful outside of this. So when we come together, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. It's a problem. We're not taking no prisoners. We're going for the big boys.
So I'm gonna default this to Brian. He has to tell you guys a story. story about exactly the Voltron theme. So he's gonna tell y'all the story.
So I don't know if you guys have a picture, but if you look at our label, we have 5 lions indicated on our label. They're representative of the 5 lions from the San Sabi province of the Zimbabwe Nature Preserve in Africa. There were 5 lions who on their own dominated, but they came together and formed a coalition, not a pride. A pride encompasses cubs and females. They formed a coalition and they dominated the nature preserve for 10 years with impunity. There's actually a documentary on it. So it was the first of its kind, and it's really the only one that has ever been. So it represents all of us in our individual endeavors, in our personal lives, as well as our professional lives, coming together, and this is what we're doing. So we're trying to do the same thing.
I know that was deep. I know that was gonna be.
No, he gotta get you guys some artwork, man, so y'all can see our labels. So
Yeah, we'd like to see those. What would be your advice to future entrepreneurs in this space, or any entrepreneur, somebody who has a dream, is like, hey, I want to start an XYZ, or even to yourself?
No. Answer your friend's phone call at 6 o'clock.
You have an idea? Answer the call. Listen. Get a business because plan. That's what it was.
And get a business plan.
And hold yourself to it. That was the blueprint we took. We answered each question of our business plan as we went along, coming company. We didn't even have money at that point. It was just, we're going to do what we can do now for free, or with what little money we have, and we'll build upon that.
And we never said what we wasn't going to do. We always say what we was going to do. And that's the key. Like, don't ever limit yourself before you get started. Because we're having conversations now that we never thought we would ever have. So if we would have said, no, we're not doing that, a lot of these conversations wouldn't even be entertained.
And then don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Stay humble.
Stay humble. It's okay to fail, or not even failure. It's a different way to learn.
Absolutely.
A failure is a success because you learn from that failure. Every time somebody says no, you learn from that. You do, and you pick it back up and you keep it moving. If you stop, you're never going to make it. If you stop, you're never going to make it. You got to keep going, keep moving, keep your feet churning, keep grinding. And when you do that, you'll find that success.
Well, today ain't a day to be humble. Today's the day you need to put on some chinchilla coats with the gold medals.
Hey,
pink gators.
Hey, I'm glad you said that. I called Brian the other day. I said, man, you know what, bro? I'm done being humble. And he was like, come on, man. I was like, no, I'm straight savage mode. I'm not humble anymore, bro. We got to celebrate ourselves. We
do.
have a hard time just sitting back and celebrating ourselves.
Yeah.
We actually focusing on June. I'm like, bro, let's live in April right now. But we're already planning for our June. So we gotta just step back and just look at what we've accomplished and just see all the smiles, all the faces that we put smiles on. We have to do that. And we're gonna do that tonight after we finish this bottle of Old Hillside. So that's what we're gonna do, man. So
if you look at Jay-Z and how he first started out, he was wearing the diamonds and the jewelry and the thing and the suits. Now, right now, he's wearing T-shirts and just regular stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's about being humble. If you're a millionaire, you don't have to look like a millionaire.
You don't have to tell everybody.
You don't have to tell everybody, hey, I got money, right? Because guess what? You're a target at that point, right? And so we live our lives very humble. I think we live below our means, right?
You have to.
You have to. And I think that's what it's all about. And I think that's what we really want to express in our brand, man. We just want to show that blueprint. This is how you do it. Like, we some regular guys.
Absolutely.
We're not no celebrities. We don't have
not yet.
or we're not athletes. We're just individuals who had a dream, who had an idea. Jesse had an idea, and we saw that vision, and we followed through by hard work, perseverance, and determination. And that's how you get it. That's how you get it.
Absolutely.
I think that just says a lot that you have a team that believed in you enough to see, like, you have a dream, like, I'm with it. Like, let's do it. Not like, well, you go ahead and get started and then I'll see if it works and then I'll hop on. But like to have that support, I think that says a lot.
I made that phone call. I paused when I told him what I was thinking about. Like, hopefully he would just be like, man, go to bed, dude. You must be still been drunk. And he was like, okay. I was like, no, you're supposed to tell me to go to bed. And he's been instrumental in that. And then, and the other crazy thing about it, Courtney, I've been following him on social media back and forth for like 5 years. And 2 days after we started this company, he posted a picture of a bourbon bottle. He's never done it before. So I called Brad. I said, hey, man, you see Courtney's post? I said, call him. I was like, I ain't got his number. I said, call him. And then it was just like, it was just ordained from there. But like, it was just ordained. And we think our team is humble enough to push this brand as far as it needs to go until we decide we want to pull it back.
Yeah. You got to surround yourself with like-minded individuals.
Absolutely.
Like-minded individuals, people who think like you, people who want what you want, people who live like you live, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, you're wasting your time.
Absolutely.
You're wasting your time. I can't give nothing that don't want what I want,
That's a word.
I don't even deal with that. I don't have no friends. For that reason, you have to isolate yourself, and you can't make yourself available to folks who will drain your energy.
True.
Right? And so these guys are like-minded individuals. They want what I want. They like what I like. We all different, right? We all have different individual, profiles. But like at the end of the day, we want to win, and it's not just for us. We got our whole. Durham was on our back. North Carolina's on our back. When folks said you can't go to North Carolina, we was like, all right, we're gonna show you.
We cut people off that told us we couldn't go.
We're gonna show you. This is how we do it, right? Because it's not about us. It's not about us.
It was in it like Petey Pablo.
Waving like a helicopter. Man.
Yeah, it is. Well, we know you got a couple more podcasts to go, so I would like to ask, what is your favorite bourbon cocktail, or do you just like to drink it neat?
We got signatures. They have signatures.
I'm an old-fashioned dude. Through and through. Yeah. Old-fashioned is my go-to, so that's me.
So it's this drink called a Bramble.
Yeah.
It's called a Bramble. It's a bourbon Bramble. It won cocktail of the year from some friends of ours. Either that or the old-fashioned. I'm neck and neck on.
Yeah, definitely the Bramble for me.
Yeah. Hey, he hasn't had the Bramble, but we'll make sure he has one tonight.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know, but I'm about
to
Google it.
Try to figure it out tonight.
It is elite.
Yeah, I like it neat. I just like mine neat or maybe on some ice.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just.
Hey, but Old Hillside, you can drink it neat or on ice. It's an amazing product.
Or in a jug with fruit.
You see what Brian's about, right? You see about.
Lastly, what do you want listeners to know most about your brand?
Family first. We're family first. We ask people never to contact us when they're with their family. Even something important. Don't even do it. We've all worked for companies where we put our family second and their company first. And what we realize is that if we drop dead today, in the next 3 days, they'll have somebody filling that same position. And we can't pass that money on to our children. So we're family first and foremost.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I look forward to seeing them fur coat photos with the gold medals. Well, hopefully y'all celebrate, well tonight. Y'all definitely deserve it.
There will be nothing on social media tonight.
Yeah, don't do that.
Downtown, it's about to be real. It's about to get all the way real tonight.
Pop out if you're out there with it.
Nothing will be left on the table.
Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you again for, sharing this time with us. We're super excited to see, the future of the brand.
And I need a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited to taste it too.
Okay. Hey, Mareshah, we'll get you guys some bottles down there and swag bag or something.
Yeah.
Congratulations again, you guys.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your night.
So bang, what did you get from all of that?
I think some of the most important takeaways for me were to surround yourself with people who are going to support you. That person you can call up in the middle of the night and be like, you know what, I was thinking, I think I want to do X, Y, and Z. And that it doesn't happen overnight. Like they kind of talked about this. It looks like it happened overnight, but there was a lot of preparation that went into this business before they actually launched, and we started seeing them out there and they started doing the things that they were doing. And then just like, if you have a dream, go get it.
I think the biggest thing that I was impressed with was the fact that all of the dudes are just extremely humble, you know, considering the fact that everything that they've been able to accomplish in that period of time.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd be spazzing on folks if I was able to say that I did all that. But the fact that they're so humble, came from humble beginnings. And one of the things that stuck with me is when they were talking about the fact that they're not satisfied with the gold. You got the top position and you're not satisfied with the gold. It's like Kobe Bryant when he was telling folks, he's like, the job's not done. They already got the gold. Now they're gonna, hopefully they win that double gold, next time. So that was just pretty awesome. But we can't forget to plug their socials because we didn't do that. If you want to know more about the Old Hillside Bourbon Company, make sure to check them out on Facebook under the same name. And they are also on IG at Old Hillside Bourbon CO. And you'll be able to find them and everything that you wanted to know about the company, news, and anything that they're releasing in the future.
Yeah. Also, we have done something special with this episode too. Like I said, since it's the first time that we've had guests on the show, we did an extra special playlist for them. So we did an A side and a B side this time. So we have the brown liquor songs.
There you go.
To celebrate Old Hillside Bourbon Company. And then we have
Friends in the hustle.
and grinding. Yeah.
So on one side, you're gonna get all your old schools. You're gonna get your Houdinis. You're gonna get some Jill Scott action. You're gonna get some what's dude's name? Anthony Hamilton.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Songs that make you feel good while you're drinking. And then on the other side of that, you got your get motivated songs. Your 50 Cent Hustler's Ambition. You started from the bottoms. Your Rick Ross Hustling. All that good stuff. So make sure you check out the socials. Then, of course, you can find us on every streaming platform available. And as always, we are on IG at Drankin Partners.
We out.
Right.
Thanks for tuning in to Love, Life and Liquor. Make sure to like, subscribe and follow on all platforms. And be sure to tell the mandem about us.